Hello everyone, this is SOSi with Watchdog Interpreters, and I have an important video update for you today that includes a concerning development about monopolies within the L&I system, glitches, and more desperate lies from the WFSE union. So please watch this entire video. Now, before we begin, I have an election update for you. The Public Employment Relations Commission decided to dismiss our election petition yesterday on October 7th, months after analyzing our arguments. So PERC is basically saying that we failed to provide signed cards from 30% of L&I interpreters supporting the election. The problem with that is that they counted all interpreters who took at least one appointment since January 1st, 2019, including interpreters who are not active or registered with SOSi to take L&I appointments using the WordBridge platform. So this is making the list never ending, which is a horrible interpretation of the law that defines who's a language access provider here in Washington. I'll explain all of this in another video. Regardless of the decision, this isn't final if we file an appeal. So we're reviewing our options at this time and we'll keep you updated with our next steps. Now, back to the topic of this video, I want to share a concern I received from an interpreter about a month ago, which highlights a serious issue within the SOSi system, resulting in interpreters losing money. Please watch this entire video. And as always, please remember to pause the video at any time to read the information you see on the screen. This interpreter says they have been showing up to accepted appointments that have not been scheduled by the respective provider within the SOSi system. The interpreter continues to say, this clinic says they've had to deal with 3 interpreters showing up to appointments they have not scheduled. It is not fair to not be able to earn that money, the interpreter adds. Now, what you see here is a voucher of service dated August 15th, earlier this year, almost 2 months ago, from an appointment that took place at Hawks Prairie Physical Therapy and Athletic Rehab located in Lacey. The checkout comment from the staff for this appointment reads as follows. There was no patient scheduled for this time. We have double-checked our system 3 times this week. We have had 3 interpreters show up with no visits that we had scheduled, but they were on the L&I website, referring to WordBridge. Now, imagine these interpreters losing precious time and opportunities showing up for these ghost appointments they had accepted, only to find out that the appointments never existed, on top of losing their gas money. This and many other issues remain unresolved by SOSi and L&I even a year after SOSi took over the distribution of appointments, all while the WFSE union remains powerless to rectify this situation. Now, for the second part of this video, I want to show you one of the issues contributing to the unfair distribution of appointments happening in the L&I system today. So go ahead and grab some popcorn because this is important. An interpreter reached out to me on August 12th earlier this year with this message. Hi Juan, I think I found an issue that's happening that's leading to the unfair distribution of appointments. So basically, I was trying to figure out why the same people are at the work hardening and long appointments. Now, pay attention to this. The interpreter continues to say, basically what's happening is that certain people are getting the email much earlier than others, especially that bulk email. So if they receive it like 10 minutes before everyone, they change their schedule to wait for the dates with the long appointments and grab them. I get that email after it's been posted, so I never have the opportunity to get long appointments. Then the people who have access to that email from earlier share it with their friends who also have access to it. It's an unfair advantage. Now, I want you to know that a group of interpreters got together to test this claim and report it to me, confirming this is happening. Now, I do have a few questions for you to consider as an interpreter. Why is this happening after the WFSE union sold us a scheduling system as the only way to end monopolies and ensure a fair distribution of appointments? How come these appointment monopolies are much worse today than when we had interpreting works, for instance, when none of this was happening? Does the SOSi company know about this? And if so, why is a selected group of interpreters affiliated with the WFSE union, as I hear, receiving a bulk appointment email 10 minutes before the rest of us? And lastly, if you voted for WFSE, is this what you voted for? Unfortunately, and to add insult to injury, the SOSi company sent an email on August 13th bragging about the WordBridge platform finally being able to display the name of the insurer on appointments before accepting them. Now, this is something that the Interpreting Works company was able to do so. You know, guys, you remember this. And the SOSi company is adding this feature 1 full year after taking over the distribution of appointments. You cannot make this up. And the WFSE union leaders keep demanding more interpreters to, of course, sign up for membership as they keep losing members by the day. Here they're claiming that most DSHS and L&I interpreters are already members, but this is a big, fat, desperate lie to get you to sign up, as only 44% of interpreters were WFSE members back in June earlier this year. And for those of you who may not believe me, well, I'll now show you a DSHS public disclosure request we have received provided on October 2nd, just a few days ago, showing you how the WFSE membership percentage keeps dropping. As you see right here, we have received the disclosure from the Healthcare Authority, or HCA, because we always provide receipts to you. And look at this. Back in August, earlier this year, out of 797 DSHS interpreters who got paid for their services, only 349 paid union dues. That only reflects a membership rate of 43.8%, which is less than half of the DSHS interpreters who got paid. But what about the L&I system, you may say? Well, look at this public disclosure request coming from L&I dated September 17th, just a few weeks ago. As you can see, out of 503 interpreters who got paid back in July earlier this year, only 80 L&I interpreters paid union dues to the WFSE union. Only 80. That's a dismal membership rate of only 15.9%. The WFSE union also only collected $469. Clear as day, the numbers do not reflect that most interpreters are WFSE members, as they claim. In fact, the numbers show that way more than half of interpreters who got paid covering both DSHS or L&I appointments got tired of the WFSE union and have decided to opt out of their union or to reject their membership offers. In closing, what you see here is that the WFSE union keeps lying to interpreters for money. In contrast, our working conditions continue to worsen as they only care about union dues. You see, WFSE Local 1671 leaders have shown you time after time after time who they are, and most interpreters have now decided to stop supporting them. And while the Public Employment Relations Commission is making it harder to have another election for L&I interpreters, the reality is that we still need to prevent the WFSE union from causing further damage to our working conditions and to our industry. But in the meantime, one thing is true. Whether you are a DSHS or an L&I interpreter, you do have the right to opt out of the WFSE union and stop paying union dues. We must get rid of this horrible union. So go to optouttoday.com/WFSE1671 to do so and keep your hard-earned money. See you in the next one.